Okay, so Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends. That was chapter 3. There are 2 discussion questions. So there was an anecdote between the manager of a auto company and 6 customers. So they owed some money, bills to the company about the service fees, but the customers did not agree on the exact amount. So if I were the manager, I would start threatening, oh, if you do not pay this, then then I'm gonna call the police or something like that. But the manager was pretty wise, so he did not choose to threaten the customers. But what did he do? Guys, remember? He let the Oh yeah, he asked them what would be the most reasonable prices for the services, right? And then he told them, oh, you guys are very fair-minded and very honest customers, so I'm gonna accept whatever payment you consider acceptable. And what happened? 5 out of the 6 customers, they actually agreed upon the most amount of money that they could pay for the company. Yeah. I mean, there are always exceptions, right? You cannot, even though we try to apply these rules we learned in not Andrew Carnegie, Dale Carnegie, there are certain exceptions, you know. So after reading this book, I tried to apply this praising method to my students. So it works 90% of the time, but there are still exceptions. And with those students, I have no other choice but to start threatening. So I would say like the methods that we learned do not apply in 100%, but at least 5 out of the 6 customers, they agree to pay the fair prices for the companies, right? And then all of them, 6 out of 6, they purchased another car in the future. Yeah. So expecting the best out of the other person, that creates better results rather than, you know, starting pointing out their flaws and then threatening them or criticizing them, I think. So this anecdote shows that if we have high expectations and if we show that expectations in a genuine manner to other people, then their behaviors are somehow, you know, shaped around that. Yeah. And as a teacher, especially after reading this book, but unconsciously, even before reading this book, I had this faint, vague idea that if I continue to tell a student, oh, 너 너무 성실하잖아. I continue to tell the student, although the student is not hardworking sometimes, then the student many times grows up to meet the expectation because the student knows that I have a higher expectation for him or her, right? It could be the parents or it could be any leader or a teacher, and you guys might have to assume a position of a leader in your daily lives as well as the class president, 반장 or 회장. Even if your classmates continue to, you know, be really loud, you can say, 아, 우리 반이 진짜 최고인 것 같아. If you say those expectations and then appeal to nobler motives, then people tend to, you know, become those people, I think, yeah. And then the good example that I found in history was Abraham Lincoln. So he was a lawyer. He was a poor lawyer. And in his early legal career, there was another experienced lawyer called Edwin Stanton. And obviously they were in a court case together. Edwin Stanton, however, did not respect Lincoln at all because he was not as experienced as him. So he actually insulted Lincoln by calling him you're long-armed ape. No, 김만승, yeah, that's what he said. After Lincoln became the president, although he had been insulted previously, he trusted Edwin Stanton's ability. So, despite all that, he did not hold any personal grudges against Edwin Stanton, he graciously appointed him as the Secretary of War. And this guy was deeply moved and touched by Lincoln's generosity. So, and he knew that Lincoln was expecting the best out of him. So he did his best. And he contributed a lot to bringing the war to the Northern victory. So Lincoln had this amazing ability to turn even enemies into allies. And in college, I had to write a paper about Abraham Lincoln, and I really wanted to figure out whether this figure has been beautified by literature and historians, or whether this figure had really a noble life. And I actually looked at many papers and many books that were written about Lincoln, and then the conclusion that I had, oh, he's like the equivalent of 이순신 장군님. So he's like a really, really wonderful person, not only as a politician, but also as a person as well, because from when he was young, he saw slaves being dragged away to slave market, and he had this pang of pain why the same humans had to be treated like that. So I recommend reading about Lincoln, yeah, someday. He's a wonderful figure. Yeah. Oh, so after that, Edwin Stanton, he used to call Lincoln long-armed Abe, but after he got appointed and then got his respect and expectation, he started saying that President Lincoln is the greatest ruler that mankind has ever experienced. That's what he said. Okay. So respecting, so the most impressive anecdote, we're supposed to share the most impressive anecdote. And then the most impressive one was the one between little girl Babette and the piano teacher, Mrs. Norris. And it was very impressive to me because she's just a little girl. So she could have used her authority as a teacher and then, given her a command, hey, Babette, trim down your fingernails, or if you don't do that by next class, then I'm not gonna teach you. She could have totally done that, but she respected her as the equal human being, as the equal person, respected her individuality. That was very amazing because as a teacher, I give many orders. 이거 해야지. 단어 외워야지. But sometimes, not intentionally, but I omit why that has to be done. If I had more time, that I would try to reason with the student and have sit down and then 이래서 이걸 해야 돼. Because of so and such, you need to do that. I mean, it'd be most ideal if I had that, time and energy to do that. But sometimes I lack the time and energy. I just skip the explanation part and then 이거 해야지. I give orders and commands, right? But this story, this anecdote, this real story has taught me a lot. Oh, being a true adult is not about controlling and then having authority or being strict, but being on this equal ground and then respecting the other person's dignity, no matter how young that person is. Yeah. So I learned a lot through this anecdote. So and then the way she put it was also very wise. She didn't say it in a command, 이거 해. But then she said that she asked it. Why don't you, can you consider trimming your nails? Then it's phrased in a question. Then, but the kid, the student, she took it. She softened her mind because it was up to her choice. So when the leader, the teacher or parent, you guys can become leaders and in a situation, and if you order people around, the people could listen to you maybe temporarily, briefly, but after a while they're going to resent it. But if you always 다른 친구들한테도 마찬가지지. Even if it's very obvious and even if something that needs to be done no matter what, always asking a question. 그거 할래? 그거 할래? I try to do that with 부원장 teacher as well. 부원장 teacher, 이거 좀 해주세요. 그러면은 he doesn't build respect. So I always ask him a question. In a question, 이거 해주실 수 있나요? Then he never says no. He always says yes. Yeah. So if you ask a question to the other person, then you can expect a positive reply. Almost 99 times out of 100. Yeah. That was the lesson that I learned. Okay. So let's practice for 45 seconds. We're gonna do it by, randomly. Okay. We're gonna pick. Alright, so pick your favorite parts and then practice without looking at the paper. Ready, set, start. Okay, so from the first anecdote between the manager of the automobile company and the 6 customers, I learned that our expectation and our perception towards other people can shape their behaviors. If we believe the goodwill of other people, we can actually see those people turning into good individuals towards us. Every human has 2 sides in them, either good or evil, and it's our choice which part we're going to bring out more. Yeah, and I really like the second anecdote between the piano teacher and Babette because she respected the little child, although she is much younger than herself. 자, 그러면 선생님이 이거 뽑는 동안 한 번 더 연습하세요. Ready, set, start. 설정 완료, 추첨하기. 오, 서진이가 먼저 되었습니다. 자, 그러면은 곽서진 학생이 먼저 발표하고 또 한번 연습 한번 해주세요, 여러분. 오케이, 서진이 talk, everybody practice. Ready, set, start.
The most memorable anecdote from the book for me was the manager and the 6 customers. So I thought that customers were being very irrational and rather they were rather really hostile and irrational and logically friendly. So I thought, given the chance, they would definitely suggest a rational price when they are asked for what they will pay, and I was very surprised that they one of them paid the full price because and I realized that with some little encouragement and expectations from others, you can get people to follow the ethical principles.
오, very good. 우리 이거 1분으로 이거 하자. 좀 짧은 것 같으니까. 그치? Yeah, so I think the key of persuasion that the manager used in the car company anecdote was how much independence and how much choice that he has given the customers. So he actually gave them choice to be a good person. And everybody, even a criminal, even a serial killer, believes that he is good-hearted. So if a person believes that he is expected as a good person, then he really wants to show it and act accordingly. So it's up to our choice whether to bring out the goodness out of the person or the evil out of the person. Everybody has 2 sides, but it's up to us, Okay, very nice. 계속 추천. 수민이. Okay, so we're gonna hear from 수민이 this time. Okay, yeah. Suminee talk, other people, please practice. Ready, set, start.
I believe that the method that the car manager used was very effective because he talked to the customers who were very angry, and that I believe that you are very honest and patient customers. And he gave a range of payment that the customers wanted to give. Almost all the customers give the maximum price of that range. So I was they didn't and received the highest amount of money to the car manager. And if the car manager hadn't used this tactic and just called the police, the customers wouldn't have bought their cars again in this car service. So I think this tactic is also useful for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if humans were completely logical beings, and then if they only base their judgments on calculations of costs and benefits, then obviously 6 out of the 6 would have given nothing to the car company. But humans are more complex than that, right? And then from this incident, we can learn that, oh, actually, we humans, we value honor over little financial gains. So when we want to persuade other people and when we want other people to act in a good way, we have to appeal to their sense of honor and then praise it. Yeah, very nice, Sumin. Thank you. Okay, 계속 추천, 찬미. Yeah. So, Chami talk and other people please practice without looking at the paper. Ready, set, start.
The manager said to the people who refused to pay bills that they were fair-minded and patient, which made them want to act the way the manager said. Also, since they must have felt that what the manager has said was just a kind of phrase and might not be his sincere mind, they wanted to make the manager actually think that way, so they had to act it the way, which was paying bills, so the manager could easily make the most of them pay the bills. How we should praise people and make them notice that we are expecting them to do so, to make them do the way that we want them to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So when the manager praised the customers, oh, you must be a very fair-minded and honest customer. The customers felt that they were valued, appreciated, and they felt as if they had earned the goodwill of the manager. So for many of us, for people, earning other people's goodwill, earning other people's hurt matters more than little financial gain. I mean, if the sum of amount was like very large, it could have been a different story. But then for many of us, earning honor and goodwill many times matters more than a little financial gain. I think that's why it worked. It was successful in persuading those people. Oh, I have a related experience. I think I was shaped around my mom's expectations, and that turned out to be a blessing for me, I guess. So from when I was very little, my mom constantly told me that, 지민이 책 읽는 거 너무 좋아해. She constantly told me that. I wasn't sure if I liked reading books or not. But then my mom constantly told me that, 우리 지민이 책 읽는 거 좋아하지. And I said, yeah, I guess, Mom. I guess. And then whenever she saw me reading books, she seemed very pleased. So I really wanted to rise up to her expectations. So I just showed her that I was constantly reading books, and she seemed more and more pleased. And I was actually morphed into a child who actually liked reading. I'm not sure if my taste for reading books developed first and then my mom described it later, or she, gave me the characteristic and then I developed myself to, suit that description. I don't know. I think it's both. Yeah. Yeah.
형이 단어 공부하는 거 좋아하지?
mom's telling you that these days, Hyogi?
네.
She's very wise. I know why. Because she's a teacher.
아니 실칼로 파 자르면서 저러고 있어요. 저 죽일 것 같아.
야, 우리 엄마 그냥 하라고 해. 우리
That's really funny. That's really funny. Yeah, so it's shaped according to my mom's expectation. I think she was a very wise mom. Yeah. She was very smart. Yeah, very tactical. She was full of strategy, I think. Anyways, okay. 계속 추첨 시후. Okay. So 시후 talk and everybody practice. Ready, set, start.
When I say something good to other person, like you're very patient, they think they is a real thing, and maybe their behavior makes the word. So they used to be like more patient, and they want to show that that is true. So they feel more patient. And also when they have a praise, their feelings go up, so they are more nice to me. And I have a similar experience. One day I heard that my friend said that I'm kind, so I want to be kinder after that day.
Oh, I mean, I don't think that person tried to shape you. I think he or she just like described you as you are because you are a kind person. Shiu. Huh? He is very kind.
No, he is.
Are you guys in the same class at school? No. Oh. Huh? 무슨
스포크?
스모크?
아니 스포크.
그게 뭐야? 스포크가 뭐야?
귀가 왜 이래?
스모크가 뭐야?
아니 스포크리요.
그게 뭐야?
그 뜻으로.
아, 그거 you guys are in the same club? Oh, okay. Yeah.
그냥 SC랑 하겠지 않아?
What is it? What do you play? Do you play dodgeball? What do you do in the sports club? What sports do you play?
원반 던지기랑
Oh.
컵스티킹이랑.
Ah, sounds very interesting. Okay. Yeah. So going back to our discussion. Sumin and Chami. Yeah, going back to our discussion. Please look at the screen. Yeah. So I think everybody wants to become good people and everybody wants to be diligent and hardworking, very studious. But they have this anxiety and they have this uncertainty whether they are actually, living up to other people's expectations or whether they are seen that way in the eyes of people because we don't know. But when other people give us the assurance and then certainty, oh, you are that person, you are a kind person, you're a hardworking person, then we feel the sense of assurance and then the feeling of certainty. Oh, yes, I am that kind of person. And then that kind of identity is reinforced that way by getting the positive feedback by other people. Oh, I am that person, and then act that way. I think is a good cycle, not a vicious cycle but a positive cycle. Okay, so she who said that, very nice. 계속 추첨 주영. Okay.
더 불안해져.
Okay, so 주경이 talk. Other people, please practice. Ready, set, start.
In one of the episodes, the author walked in this park with his dog Rex. And the dog was, and without a leash, and was caught by the police. He immediately promised to obey to the police officer's words, and he did for a couple of times, but eventually he unleashed Rex again and was caught by it. And instead of waiting to be like told off by the police officer
Mhm.
and like being scolded,
Uh-huh.
he instantly responds to it like, I'm so guilty for officer, I'm so sorry about it, and then like admitted his wrongs, and that actually benefited his to make a positive outcome. So what I learned from this episode was if you admit your like wrong immediately, you can have a better outcome. And if you like trying to avoid it and neglect the problem because you're scared and because of anxiety, that could arouse another like problem. So
Oh.
immediately act for it.
Oh, okay. So Dale Carnegie, he went to the park to walk his dog, and he's not supposed to let the dog just run around because that could be dangerous for other people. It was against the rule, but then he did that couple times, and every time he was caught by the policeman, and he said, "Okay, police officer, I'm not gonna do that next time." But then I think he got caught the third time, and then he knew right away that he was in serious trouble, and then he immediately apologized to the police officer in a very passionate manner. 죽을 죄를 졌습니다, 경찰관 선생님. And then that's how he was pardoned, forgiven, and gotten out of control. So I think there are certain people who keep saying that, 나 너무 운이 안 좋아. And then like there's certain people saying that, 그런 말 들어봤어요, 여러분? 나는 인복이 참 없다. 이런 말 무슨 뜻인지 알아요, 여러분? 그 무슨 말이야? 사람 복이 없다는 거야. 그치? 그래요. 나 만난 사람보다 진짜 나 참 인복이 없어. 근데 그런 말을 들으면 난 어떤 생각이 드는지 알아요, 여러분?
너는 복 없어.
그 뭐 너무 웃기잖아, 그거는. 근데 진짜 내가 인복이 많다라고 그렇게 믿잖아. 그렇게 하고 그렇게 사람들 이렇게 treat nicely 하잖아. 그럼 진짜 인복이 많아져. 근데 let's say Dale Carnegie, he went to the park with a dog, and then he got third time by the police officer, but then he was like stiff, and then 아니 경찰관 선생님 개 좀 이렇게 풀고 다닐 수 있는 거 아닙니까? 왜 이렇게 빡빡하게 굴어요? If he acted that like arrogantly and tried to argue with the police officer, then he could be arrested, right? So if a person believes that bad luck continues to follow him like everywhere he goes, or wherever he goes, he gets into conflicts with other people, I don't think that's pure bad luck. I think that's most of the time that's because of that person's fault. Yeah. So 그렇게 이제 there are ways to smoothly go about our daily lives without conflicts and peacefully, and then have the least amount of trouble as possible. Yeah. And that starts from subtlety, subtle facial expression. 경찰관 선생님. Or like the tone of the voice, like the little smiles, like how you sincerely say. Let's say you are learning to drive for the first time, and then obviously you're gonna bump into many cars and stuff, but then if you like get out of the car, 아니 아저씨 운전을 그따위로 하면 어떡해요? 그러면은 you're gonna be fully charged with the maximum amount of repair. But if you say, 선생님 잘못했습니다, if you did that, then 학생이 그럴 수도 있지. 그냥 가봐요. Yeah? Okay? Yeah, so there are ways to smoothen out your daily lives peacefully. And also, I would say, like, let our lives be followed by good luck, It's our choice, I think, whether we are gonna have good luck or bad luck everywhere we go. Okay?
근데 그 엄마한테 사랑하면 죽을 것 같아.
Okay.
어머니 죄송.
그거
죄송해요.
그치. 그래서 추첨. 표기기. 표기. Very nice. 그럼 표기 다음에 지민이 하면 되지. 좋아요. 자, 그러면은 김표기 학생 한번 해볼게요. 김표기 talk. Everybody, please study or listen to him. Ready, set, start.
I personally think that the most memorable anecdote in this book was when Carnegie tried to approach the three kids and stop them from setting a fire in the park. And when he first approached the kids, he was in a very authoritative tone. And the boys only showed resentment after that, but and the boys went to do it again. Well, after that, Dale Carnegie approached them with a nice and kind tone, and the boys want to like help him, and so I find it fascinating that a little change in conversational behavior can make such big differences.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So the first time around, he went to the boys and he declared to them in a very authoritative tone of voice, boys, you're not supposed to start a fire here. Then you're gonna get arrested by the police. Their reaction would be like, 아저씨가 뭔데요? 아저씨가 저희한테 뭘 해주셨길래 명령하고 그래요? So they're going to be filled with resentment and they're not going to listen to them. Right? But then second time around, he sat down with the boys, started having a conversation, and he actually emotionally involved himself, engaged himself in their lives, although briefly. So that shows like emotional investment from Dale Carnegie's life, and then the boys feel like their response would not be 아저씨가 뭔데요? The 아저씨 is not a stranger any longer, but then he actually became friends. At least acquaintances to the boys. He actually tried to get to know the boys because the boys recognize the emotional investment that Dale Carnegie made. They cannot just like flatly reject him as a stranger. And then they're going to listen to Dale Carnegie. Yeah, because of his willingness to engage and interact with the boys. Okay, so lastly, 지민이 한번 해볼게요. Okay, 지민이 talk. Everybody study or listen to her. Yes. Ready, set, start.
Dramatize your idea and the story about the sailor who was for national cash register was very impressive to me. One day, the sailor went to the grocery store and saw the cash registers were very old-fashioned. And he went to the owner and said, "You're literally throwing away pennies while actually throwing pennies on the floor." And after that, the owner became very attentive and the seller got a big order. After reading the chapter, I realized that dramatizing is very persuading and getting approval and cooperation. And also I learned that to dramatize, having confidence and belief in ourselves and our ideas is very important. So if you want success and convincing, you should be our own supporter first.
Oh, very nice. So if you want to persuade other people, dramatize your idea. And then the field where persuasion skills are mostly used is business, right? We all have to make money, no matter what we become. For example, let's say we become a lawyer, then we have to advertise ourselves so that more clients are going to hire us. Even if we become doctors, then we have to advertise our hospitals to get more clients. Let's say even if we become a pilot, we're not directly selling our service to the customers. We have to convince our bosses so that we're gonna get more promoted. We're going to get quick promotion. So we have to constantly prove that what we have to offer is more valuable. And then the best way to do that is dramatizing our ideas. And that's why, so these days, many people think that math skills and science skills are the most important I believe that to get into college, to go to a good university, math and science skills are the most important. But I think the soft skills, such as persuasion, 약간 문과적인 능력도, the literary skills, actually they become more important when you get employed and start your professional career. For example, like what kind of like vast and huge differences are there between Samsung Galaxy phones and iPhones? Not that many, but why do people pay a lot more for the iPhone? That's because the iPhones, they appeal to your senses, appeal to your emotions better. And so there were two important key figures in the company Apple. One was Steve Jobs. He was the head of the marketing department. And the other one was Wozniak. Same first name, Steve Wozniak. He was a technician. He was the developer. I don't think Apple would have gained a huge amount of success that they enjoy now if it weren't for the dramatizing, efforts of Steve Jobs. If it weren't for the presentations that he gave, dramatic presentations that he gave to the potential customers, then Apple would not have attained the current status right now. So, dramatizing, appealing to other people's senses and feelings, they are very important. They're equally important, Okay, so we're gonna wrap up our discussion here. 네.